Humans once tried to dig deeper than anyone ever had. Not into the ocean. Not into space. But straight down, into the Earth itself. And at some point, they had to stop. Not because they reached the center of the Earth. But because something unexpected started happening. Something they didn't plan for. Something they didn't fully understand. And even today, it raises a question. How deep can we actually go? Because for centuries, humans have always been driven by curiosity. We crossed oceans. We climbed the highest mountains. We sent machines beyond our planet. But one direction remained mostly untouched. Down. Beneath the ground we walk on every day, lies a world we barely understand. Layers of rock, extreme pressure, rising temperatures. A hidden world that doesn't reveal itself easily. And at one point in history, scientists decided to find out what was really down there. Not by guessing. Not by theory. But by actually digging. Somewhere in a remote, freezing region of Russia, far away from major cities and everyday life. A project began that would push human engineering to its limits. It wasn't designed to be famous. It wasn't meant to go viral. It was simply an experiment. A very ambitious one. The goal was clear. Drill deeper than anyone had ever drilled before. And study what lies beneath the Earth's surface. That project would later become known as the Kola Superdeep Borehole. At first, everything seemed normal. Massive drilling machines were set up. Metal pipes pushed downward through layers of rock, breaking through ground that had remained untouched for billions of years. Each meter, each layer, brought them closer to something no human had ever reached. And year after year, they kept going. Deeper and deeper. Until they reached something unbelievable. Over 12 kilometers into the Earth. To understand how deep that is, if you took Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, and flipped it upside down, this hole would still go deeper. Think about that for a second. All of that distance, not above you, but beneath your feet. And that's when things started to change. Because what they expected to find was not what they actually encountered. As the drill pushed further down, the temperature began to rise. At first, it was manageable. Then it became intense. Then it became extreme. At depths of around 12 kilometers, temperatures reached over 180 degrees Celsius. Hotter than boiling water. Hot enough to damage equipment. Hot enough to change how materials behave. And the deeper they tried to go, the worse it became. The metal used in the drilling process started weakening. Machines began to fail under the pressure. Tools that were designed to cut through solid rock could no longer function properly. But even that wasn't the most unexpected part. Because the rock itself began to behave differently. Instead of remaining hard and stable, it started to act almost like plastic, softening under the extreme heat and pressure, making it harder to drill, harder to predict, and far more dangerous. It was no longer just about drilling deeper. It became a battle against the conditions of the Earth itself. And slowly, something became clear. This wasn't going to continue much longer. Not because they didn't want to keep going, but because they physically couldn't. The deeper they went, the more the Earth pushed back. And eventually, after years of effort, the project was stopped. Not with a sudden disaster. Not with anything dramatic or mysterious. Just a quiet decision. A realization that this was the limit. At least for now. Today, that site still exists. In that same remote region of Russia. There is a small metal cap, sealing the deepest hole humans have ever created. Nothing flashy. Nothing that stands out. Just a simple cover, hiding something extraordinary beneath it. And what makes this story so fascinating is not just how deep they went, but how little it actually is, compared to the Earth itself. Because even after drilling more than 12 kilometers down, we have barely scratched the surface. The Earth's crust alone can be up to 70 kilometers thick. And below that, lies the mantle. And even deeper, the core. Layers we still cannot reach. Cannot fully study. Cannot fully understand. So everything we've built, Every tunnel, every mine, every deep exploration is still incredibly shallow compared to what lies beneath. And that leaves us with one thought. Every time you stand on solid ground, every time you walk across the earth, remember this: beneath your feet is a world of extreme heat, pressure, and mystery. A world we've only just begun to explore. And despite everything we've achieved as humans, we still don't know how deep we can truly go. Subscribe for more hidden mystery.